AI music, which is has been a AI music has been a much discussed topic on a lot of my streams recently because it's here. It's not really going anywhere. It's only progressing more and more. People are getting bolder and bolder by the day. You have Timbaland putting out a whole entire platform that is meant to produce AI music, and his first signing was an AI artist, one Timbaland, who's in the industry, who is an icon, who is a mainstay within music, is embracing AI to that degree. Was very kind of shocking to see, but like it's clearly the direction that a lot of this stuff is going. So it's going to continue to be a topic of discussion as things develop. But he's got a take here at saying AI music is evil. I don't know exactly what he's talking about or why, but let's check this one out.
Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time to once again talk about the growing nightmare that...
Shout out Fabio. I unfortunately saw an AI musician that had like 300K monthly. I believe it. I believe it. I absolutely believe it because we talked about this. One of my, I forget what stream it was. One of my early streams, we talked about this, where it was discovered, which Spotify is specifically being sued for right now, is for the, what genre was it? Lo-fi jazz, lo-fi jazz, hip hop, that whole kind of medium where a lot of people use it to study and use it as background music. What Spotify's been doing is they hired a company, an AI company, basically to produce AI songs based in the genre of lo-fi hip hop that they would in turn put into people's playlists so that they did not have to pay actual artists out there making songs and music that would normally be in said playlist. Like if you're doing a study playlist, you're doing a lo-fi playlist, they are replacing artists in there with AI artists that they have paid another company to make and fill in for songs. And if you are a person who is typically using this as background music, you're not going to necessarily check who's making a song, the background of that artist. You're just obviously listening to it in the background, but because you are listening to it, they are making money from advertising. They are making money from this, and they are not paying actual artists the money. So like, I'm not surprised to see that there is an artist out there that has already had 300K monthly listeners, because Spotify itself, next move is clearly trying to push into AI and replace a lot of the artists already out there strictly because they don't want to pay. It just costs a lot less paying an AI's company or specifically developing some kind of AI system versus actually paying an artist. And that is the direction that they are clearly trying to go, especially for a lot of music that is background music, which honestly makes up a huge portion of their streams. If you really look at their numbers, a lot of their music, a lot of their streams and numbers come from people that make instrumentals, that make background music that people can just play pretty much continuously in the background. Unlimited streams. Think about that. I mean, they definitely found out not only daily mix, but playlists as well. Daily mix and playlists, especially for people that are out there specifically looking for a whole lo-fi. I can try to find exactly which. We did talk about it. I forget which one it was. There was a specific article I had. To find it again, but I'm sure if you Google Spotify lo-fi hip hop AI, it has come up, and they are definitely being kind of possibly being sued. Fine, like however, it's kind of a little shaky ground in terms of what they're doing, but they are definitely replacing a lot of these lo-fi instrumental artists as much as they can with AI, because just strictly, I don't have to pay you. I can pay pennies on the dollar for somebody who can just pump out AI song after AI song. I haven't seen any in my place. Yeah, I mean, they haven't touched, obviously, vocal tracks and whatnot, songs that actually have vocalists. But in terms of just straight instrumentals and like especially specifically brands of music that people don't necessarily care who's making it or like really put that much stock into the artist behind it, which is a lot of like study background music that people do use pretty consistently on that platform, they are increasingly using AI more and more. And not only just them, but artists themselves are like, or people, creators are creating profiles that are strictly AI and like putting AI music on there. So like, and the fact that they're kind of allowing it so they can pay out much less is kind of wild. Very disrespectful to artists in general, but they are definitely doing it. And I don't see it actually being illegal or being stopped anytime soon, especially the direction that the government seems to be going in supporting AI. But yeah, let's see if I can find that article or video that I did a little bit ago. But yeah, it's Spotify is not for the artist. We've talked about this also many times. They are absolutely anti-artists. They are for the labels, and they're honestly trying to replace the labels themselves, which be a much bigger fight. But as always, they are in cahoots, and if they can both cut out the artists and keep as much profit as they can, they definitely will do that.
That is AI generated music, and the fact that it continues to be forced upon.
Now, I don't know about Apple Music. I haven't heard about Apple Music, but Spotify is definitely the one. They're definitely the one that leading the force. They also have the biggest user base, biggest listener base, and most people, again, don't own music. Yeah, they're horrible for music. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's kind of the dilemma that I've kind of talked about. Is this big reason why I never got into streaming or this platforms, because once they replace your entire source of music with their platform, which a lot of people's only source of music is Spotify. Like if they unsub from Spotify, they have no physical music, they have no downloaded music, they don't have any way to access music outside the radio. They kind of got you. They can kind of do whatever they want because they know like this is your entire catalog, these are your playlists, this is your collection. Where are you gonna go? Oh no, there's no streaming platform that actually pays their artists outside of maybe Bandcamp. And even then, like it's just not a big enough platform. Apple Music, yeah, nah. They don't really pay either. They pay out more. They definitely pay out more than Spotify, but their user base is significantly smaller than Spotify. So even then, you're going to get less listeners. You're going to get, so then a lot of artists find a necessary evil in terms of you need to be heard, you need access, you need people to actually listen to your things. And unfortunately, Spotify is turning into that one central kind of place to be for an artist until there's like some sort of alternative, which it's very hard to see happening considering how ingrained most people are into that kind of ecosystem. It's not looking good, that's for sure. There's some that pay them way less. Oh, absolutely. 1000%. 1000%. The only way to actually be super profitable on Spotify is to be such a big artist that you can kind of control and make up your own rates. If you don't think like some of the biggest artists have their own contracts and own payout rates with Spotify, yes, they do. But if you're not one of those artists, yeah, you just don't have that power to make any time drains. I only use Spotify, the only free version, and literally only for the reactions on here. Outside of that, no, I have my own pretty extensive collection of music directly on my phone. What's funny is what you also talk about this. With this whole kind of rise of the streaming machine is what it's actually doing is causing pirating to kind of make a big comeback, which is what they were ultimately trying to fight in the first place.
On us by individuals who should know better and frankly have way too much power and influence in the music industry. Of course, we are talking about legendary super producer TIMBALAND, whose work I am very familiar with because...
Okay, speaking about the artist, this is exactly what I was talking about. One TIMBALAND out here using AI and kind of betraying the whole kind of creativity, creator, artistry, whatever. Like a guy that you would think would be in full support of creators is going full AI, which is wild to see.
I came of age when he was generating a lot of his biggest and best and most influential hits, honing the talents of a lot of bright, young, up-and-coming artists who made some incredible stuff. But these days, Timbaland isn't really on that trajectory anymore. In fact, it's been a while since he's generated a real, genuine hit with a new, young, exciting artist who's actually making waves. I mean, if you're a producer with the talent and the history and the experience and connections of a Timbaland, the ground is currently fertile with ideas and artists willing to do whatever they can to make the biggest song of their career. The options and opportunities are there. You just have to go out there and grab them. No, instead of doing that, he is trying to forge a new pathway for himself by cutting corners and selling music fans short by giving us a bunch of AI-generated slop. And he's been quite egotistical about it in the past as well. We've actually covered AI in relation to Timbaland on this channel before, in terms of this little obsession he had for a moment with bringing Biggie Smalls back, or at least, bringing his vocals back with...
Please never let him touch anything from Notorious B.I.G. or Tupac or anybody. That's the last thing I want to hear. Fabio said, I think Kanye and Cardi had a big influence in more musicians using AI. I can't really speak to Cardi specifically. Kanye obviously has had a huge influence in music in general, and just kind of especially in hip hop and just that kind of field in terms of what people and producers and artists were kind of willing to go and places they were going to go. I can't really say necessarily in terms of AI in specifics. Did Kanye use a lot of AI? Did Drake use a lot of AI? I don't really recall necessarily Drake having an AI kind of issue. I mean, I know Kanye has definitely influenced a lot of technological things and kind of the way in music has been released. I don't think that's necessary for the good. I think one of the biggest impacts he's had is people releasing not finished projects straight up. Like, he does not release finished projects, and he hasn't done that in years. Oh, Kanye Bully has a ton of AI. See, I kind of tapped out of Kanye for a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have not listened to any of his new projects or any of his new stuff. I don't think he cares anymore. Like, he says he does. I don't think he actually cares about the quality of his music anymore, because he puts out projects that are clearly unfinished on a very consistent basis. Oh yeah, you're right. Drake did use AI for Tupac. I don't know if he influenced people, because that shit backfired pretty rapidly for him. He has not had a good year. And I think that was one of the leading moments of why things went the way he did, because people did not, at least people I know, did not fuck with him doing that, using AI voice for Tupac. Like, who are you to do that? Like, he does not have that type of clout and respect and reputation amongst true hip hop fans to do that and pull that off, especially to somebody like a Kendrick Lamar in the West Coast. So yeah, I forgot that Drake did that for Tupac. You were never a fan of Kanye? We've been trying to say. I was a huge fan. of Kanye. College dropout, late registration, graduation, just all that kind of, all the way up until My Beautiful Dr. Savannah, and pretty much everything after that kind of. But I was a huge fan of Kanye, like a lot of people were, especially in that time period. I just don't think he cares. I don't think he's got people around him that are willing to push him or push back on the things that he's doing. And it's clearly showing, and he's clearly spiraling for the last like 5 to 7 years now. And it's only been speeding up as time has gone by. But people hate it. Yeah, people hate it, but it brought a lot of attention. It did. It brought a lot of attention because obviously Drake and Kendrick was the biggest thing that happened last year in terms of music. Like, I haven't seen the music industry kind of, especially hip hop, that energized in a super long time now. Like, it did bring a lot of attention to what you can do in AI. I just don't think it was necessarily as positive, because, especially in hip hop, I'll just say it, because as copycat and Me Too as it has become, there is still an aspect of hip hop where authenticity is very key, especially for true like hip hop heads. And I don't think it was fully embraced. I don't think most artists would be willing to kind of attempt that. But like a Cardi, yeah, I could definitely see a Cardi doing that because I don't even understand the shit he says at the time. So it could be AI or not, quite honestly. Kanye was huge for music. Yeah, absolutely. Kanye was one of the most, whether you like Kanye music or not, he was easily one of the most influential artists of this kind of modern era of music, point blank period, across the board. I mean, especially for hip hop, that one album he did, well, two albums he did, honestly. 808s and Heartbreaks brought that kind of poppy EDM sound to electronic sound to hip hop to a degree that I've never seen before, along with Graduation. And then what was that kind of punk era album he did? Yeezus did a lot. It, like, honestly brought a lot of punk energy to hip hop that really was not there, and it kind of opened the doors for a lot of these newer acts and newer artists to feel confident enough, honestly, to be different, to experiment, to break free from kind of like the echo chamber that hip hop was increasingly starting to find itself. So he did influence like a ton of this newer generation. You would not have Kid Cudi, you would not have Travis Scott, you probably would not have like a Little Uzi or people like that are like very much alternative. You would not have XXXTentacion. So his impact is definitely there. Like, he changed fashion, he changed music, but it's just like, yeah, I agree with you where I don't think their comeback in terms of music, no, I think that's pretty much done. I don't think he's got it in him anymore. He's just not in a good space to create anything meaningful at all. And I think most people are kind of giving up. And I really don't see him come back from that pretty much anytime soon, if ever, for sure. It'd be hard. It'd be a tough sell. It'd be a very tough sell for this man to come back 1000%.
The power of AI and using that to create, the opportunity for him to work with Biggie.
There's a lot of talk about AI. We know how the feelings of violating certain things, but let me tell you something. I got to share something I've been working on because I always wanted to do this, and I never got a chance to. I always wanted to work with Big, and I never.
No, just no. Please leave this alone. Like, this was honestly one of the big worries about AI for me, is like people taking advantage of artists who have passed, using their voices and coming up with bullshit. Like, I don't care if you were best friends, if you were their parent, if you were a sibling. Like, I don't want to hear your version of what you think they might have made. That's not what I want to hear. And I think that there should be a law against it, quite honestly, because I fuck with Tyler because he literally put in his will that you cannot release any of my unreleased music. And I'm sure he's also going to do something about AI, because the last thing somebody like that would want to do is like, yeah, go ahead. I'm been gone for like whatever. Put out music in my name. That's not anything that I've written, anything I've had to say in, anything created, but you get to cash out on. Like, that's fucking crazy. And that's crazy for like a Timbaland specifically to say that.
Never got a chance to. Until today, it came out right. Play.
I really am happy about
It's not a banger, my guy.
the public outcry around that, because I do think we kind of dodged a bullet there. But sadly, this has not stopped Timbaland from trying to forge forward with this whole AI thing. I actually think recently some of the stuff he's been doing with AI has been flying a little under the radar. I didn't see much coverage about this, but not too long ago, he came out with this Timbaland Progression album. Yes, Timbo Progression is the title of it. It dropped just this year. And the whole thing is like this weird throwback 70s Afrobeat, Afro-funk type of record. The songs on this LP are way shorter than you would usually expect music in this genre to be. On top of that, the grooves and the drums and the bass and the horns are just super looped and repetitive. Like, there's no real organic, natural groove or
like their AI, which I'm sure he's about to tell us right now, is that Yes, the album in fact was all AI.
Flow to it at all. It sounds very tight, very synced, very cleanly produced for music in this style, but it still has the kind of nostalgic sheen to it, which does lead me to believe that these tracks may be AI generated on some level. I mean, when exactly is Timbaland hitting the studio with a full band of old school African funk musicians and having them sing Timbo? And if he did actually put...
Never. He does not do live production. He is a master of the MPC, a master of the keyboard, but in terms of live artists and live musicians, no, that's not how he works. So yes, 1000% this is AI. He's saying it might be. No, this is absolutely AI generated. This is honestly one of the biggest concerns I have about AI is that it is extremely powerful tool. Obviously, no denying that, in the access and level it gives for creatives and artists to create basically is almost limitless, not like 100% limitless, but the options, the ability, the different ways you could take things has been opened up to an insane degree that, again, very cliche, but like, why haven't people stopped? Like, you also have to ask your question, like, just because you can do it, should you do it? And that is a line that's going to get very, very fuzzy. Just because you can create something with AI, just because you can do all these different things, just because you can tap into all these different sounds and genres and styles that you personally don't have the skill to do, or even have the knowledge or like, you know, time and effort to actually put in to learn. Should you, just because you're a successful producer, should you go into African funk music that's from the 60s and 70s just because you can? Yeah, technically you can, but should you do that? Like, should that be a direction that you should go with your music? Is that disrespectful to everything that's come before you? I think it is. I think it's extremely disrespectful to the artists that have actually put the time, the effort in to actually create these genres and sounds, and then you go with the AI machine and produce a facsimile of what you think that sound is, which is generally also just a complete rip-off of what was made before. Because let's be real, AI is not an inventor like people try to think. It doesn't invent anything. It pulls information of everything that's been put out there before and puts out an amalgamation of sounds and things that they think it is closely aligned to that specific thing that you want. But they don't actually create anything. They need things that have been made before to actually put out anything, which is also very shaky in terms of copyright. As far as for generated, I just don't see it as a tool for anything. It's a cheat code towards a terrible outcome. AI should have stayed in stuff like recognizing cancer before cells turning before cells. I mean, yeah, I can't really argue against that. I definitely do think AI has a lot of useful uses and extents in terms of like creativity. There are definitely some aspects of AI where it can come in handy, especially in terms of brainstorming and coming up things. But I don't think it produces anything really good or creative or stand out, because it's not innovative in terms of like when you see something creative, when you hear something new, like you just know it. I don't think AI is ever, at least in this form, is ever going to be able to create something that is just that. You just know it when you see it. It has no soul to it. You hear it. You see the artist. You see the images that it produces. There's just absolutely no soul behind it. And like, yeah, technically it might be good, but you just know it when you see it that, yeah, this is just slop. That's the best word. AI slop.
The personal time and resources into doing such a thing, you would think you would actually spend a bit more time like promoting the album, and it would be a bit more of a to-do, but instead this thing was like dropped out of the blue. And again, I think a lot of people haven't really kind of taken notice, and I think he's kind of used this as an opportunity to see if he can kind of like sneak a project like this out without people giving him...
Timbaland is always on Instagram. Timbaland is always on social media talking about anything and everything, especially anything that relating to him. If he releases without even talking about it, which I don't remember him ever releasing this, is simply for the fact that he is testing things out and he's seeing the response, because he saw the response that he got about the Biggie thing and he did not like that. But he still wants to continue down this AI road. So that's exactly why he did not announce this project, is because he just testing the waters and seeing if it's safe for him to come outside, basically.
Crap for it. However, people are seemingly giving him crap for this new AI based venture he's involved in, which is this new pop artist here you can see on your screen named Tata, who, yes, is AI generated and looks like a composite of like a dozen different K-pop artists. AI generated,
which it is. Let's be real. It is, because again, AI does not create from nothing. It only creates from things that have already been out there, images that are already out there, and people that are already out there. 1000%, he probably put in K-pop artists, blah blah blah, and what did it do? It grabbed images of a ton of K-pop artists and pumped out this amalgamation of all of them, which is shaky at best. Kind of fucked up for a creator to do, quite honestly.
Images and music are gross enough on their own. What makes this even worse is, again, it's being engaged with by a man who has the time and has the talent and has the resources to actually be working with real, interesting, exciting young artists. But instead, he's doing this crap, and not out of
I couldn't agree more. This is Timbaland we're talking about. This is a man that did Nelly Furtado, that did One Republic, that did Aaliyah, that did Missy Elliott, that worked with Jay-Z, that clearly has the talent and the access and the ability to work in all these different genres, all these different styles, and has proven many times that he's able to kind of basically build up these artists and take them to a new level. And instead of doing that with their K-pop, which I'm sure there's a ton of K-pop artists that would love to work with them, he's going AI. And it's kind of a fucking slap in the face.
Love of creativity or anything like that. No, it's all being done because obviously if you can, for the audience, fake the vision of an actual artist through images and sound, and then actually generate a hit or two that way, that saves you the pesky trouble of having to pay them and split royalties with them or compromise creatively with them in some way. Now, once again, like with the Biggie thing, Timbaland has gotten pushback for this as well. He's also trying to funnel all of this into like this, entertainment company that's going to be AI based named Stage Zero, which just goes to show you how greedy his ambitions are here. But in the wake of the backlash, Timbaland has gone.
It's just money. That's it. Let's be real. It's about money. If you can, again, like he kind of mentioned, if I can sign an artist that I literally don't have to pay, I don't got to put on tour, I ain't got to deal with any of the headaches, I don't got to do anything outside of actually creating it from the beginning. It's just money. All that money, if it works, he just gets all that money to his pockets. Don't have to work with labels, don't have to work with, it's just money. It's a money grab, and that's ultimately, when it comes to creativity, a large part of what AI is. It's just a way to get money for the least amount of expense put in. Defeating the whole part of creativity.
Onto social media to defend this decision with a few cringe-worthy posts on Instagram. The first one I will read here. I know I'm trolling, but let's have a real conversation. I love my independent artists. Okay, first off, you're starting a goddamn company around this shit, and you've tried to do this stuff before. You've released music recently that is presumably AI. You are not fucking trolling. And if you love your independent artists so much, where are they? Where are they? Where are the independent artists? Where's the new production and entertainment company for all of your independent artists? This doesn't mean I'm not working with real artists anymore, and nah, I don't train AI off y'all music. Okay, well, I'm gonna presume it means.
Come on, Cap, hold up. I got a button for that. Nah, I can't find it. Cap, I'm called Cap though. He's saying his AI, the only AI that does not train itself off of other artists' music. Come on, bro. There's no such thing as a generative AI that generates without access to tons and tons and tons of data. It's impossible. That's just not how it works. 1000% your AI kind of cash grab is 1000% learning off of music that has already been made and put out there. Point blank period. Just a blatant fucking lie he just told. And it just hurts. It's just hard to see somebody that, again, I respected very much for the insane amount of accomplishments he's had in music. And I love a lot of artists that he's worked with and the music that he's produced. But like to see him kind of go down this road and go down this route, it's fucking sad and disgusting to quite honestly see for somebody of his stature and level push this. Is like insane to me.
Means you're going to be working with a lot fewer real artists, honestly. Maybe you're not swearing off of real artists entirely, but this whole process says to me that if the opportunity arises where working with a fake artist will make you more money, you're going to do that. And you're going to try to drum up as many use cases as possible in the process, because all of this is just driven by your pockets. And again, no, I don't train AI off of your music. I mean, it's being trained off of something. What programs and platforms are you using? You're certainly not training the AI purely off of your own music. You know, I forgot about the massive
facts. Like, you made a lot of music, but you ain't made nearly enough for a generative AI that can pump out unlimited amounts of songs and whatever that you plan for this platform to be. So you're 1000% using other people's music and not paying them for it, which it seems to be the route that everything seems to be going in. It's very sad to see.